Hello and welcome to KoKo Language Learning Lounge.
We're glad you're here. I'm Rob.
And I'm Crystal. It's wonderful to be with you again. We're so glad you're here.
In our previous episode, we talked about some of the everyday moments where English plays an important role at work. We explored how to prepare your mindset before a meeting, how to speak up during discussions, how to write professional and respectful emails, and how to communicate clearly and kindly across cultures.
All of those topics help us build a strong foundation not just for using English, but for building confidence and trust in the workplace.
And today, in part two, we're going even deeper. We'll talk about how to ask questions when you're unsure, how to clarify instructions respectfully, how to give and receive feedback with empathy, and how to continue practicing English in your daily life outside of work.
These are the skills that often go unnoticed, but they make all the difference. They help us grow one sentence, one conversation, one small act of courage at a time.
So, whether you're listening on your commute, during a break, or winding down after work, we invite you to settle in and take this next step with us.
Let's begin part two of your English communication journey with warmth, reflection, and support. Asking questions is one of the most important skills in the workplace. It shows that you care, that you are listening, and that you want to get things right. And yet, so many people feel shy or nervous about asking questions in English.
I used to feel that way too. I worried that asking questions would make me seem slow or unprepared. I didn't want others to think I wasn't capable.
Yes, I understand that feeling. But I've learned that in most cases, asking a question is actually seen as a strength. It means you're engaged and you care about doing your work well.
Let's talk about how to ask for clarification in a kind and confident way. For example, if someone says something you don't fully understand, you could say something like this: "I'm sorry, but I didn't fully understand what you just said. Could you please explain it again, perhaps in a different way?"
Or you might say, "Would you mind going over that last part again? I just want to make sure I understood it correctly." That's respectful and shows that you're being careful.
Another useful sentence is, "Just to clarify, are you saying that we need to send the files by Friday morning?" This shows that you are confirming the information clearly and politely.
If you miss a word or phrase someone used, you can also say, "I'm sorry, I didn't catch that last word. Could you please repeat it for me?" Or you could say, "I'm still learning the terminology. Could you explain what ROI means in this context?"
That's such a good example. No one expects you to know every word, especially when technical or company-specific language is used. Asking for clarification is smart and responsible.
Let's walk through a realistic conversation. Imagine a team meeting where someone is explaining a new process.
As part of the update, we'll need to reconfigure the workflow in the CRM system by EOD Thursday.
Excuse me, may I ask for a bit of clarification?
Of course, Crystal.
When you say reconfigure the workflow, do you mean we should change the order of tasks in the CRM? Or are we replacing the current process entirely?
Great question. We'll be changing the task sequence, not replacing the process, just making it more efficient.
Thank you. And just to be sure, when you said EOD Thursday, you meant by the end of the workday this coming Thursday, correct?
Yes, that's right, by 6 p. MO, Thursday.
See how we both asked clear, full questions? We didn't say what or huh. Instead, we used polite and complete sentences.
And more importantly, we made sure that we truly understood the task. That helps avoid mistakes and builds trust with your team.
Now, there are times when you're in a one-on-one conversation and the other person is speaking quickly or using unfamiliar expressions. In that case, you can say something like, "I'm sorry to interrupt, but could we go over that step by step? Or would you mind slowing down a little?" I want to make sure I understand everything.
Those phrases are not rude at all. They show courage and care. And most people will appreciate your honesty.
Let's also talk about situations where you don't know the answer to something. That can feel embarrassing, but it's perfectly okay. Here's how you can respond professionally. I'm not sure about that right now, but I will check and get back to you as soon as possible.
Or you could say, "That's a great question. Let me find out the details and follow up shortly." You don't have to know everything. What matters is that you take responsibility.
And if someone asks for your opinion, but you need time to think, it's perfectly fine to say, let me take a moment to think about that, or I'd like to give you a thoughtful answer. Can I get back to you after I've looked into it?
Yes, giving yourself space to respond clearly is part of being professional. You don't need to answer instantly to be respected.
Sometimes people also feel unsure when they want to double check something. For example, before sending a document or giving confirmation, you can say, just to confirm, you would like this delivered by Tuesday morning, correct?
Or, if I understand correctly, we are supposed to include both the summary and the full report in the final email, right? These questions help make sure everyone is on the same page.
Let's practice one more dialogue, this time with someone clarifying instructions after a meeting.
Hi, Rob. I wanted to check in after today's meeting. I wanted to confirm that I understood the action items correctly.
Sure, Crystal. Go ahead.
First, I will revise the client presentation based on the new brand guidelines. Then I will send it to the team by Thursday at noon. Is that correct?
Yes, that's exactly right. And if you could include the updated logo on the cover slide, that would be great too.
Absolutely. Thank you for confirming. I'll get started on it today. I love how clear that exchange was. When we take time to clarify, it actually saves time later. Fewer mistakes, less confusion, and better teamwork.
Yes, and when you use full sentences like we've shown here, people see you as thoughtful and careful, not hesitant.
If I could say one thing to anyone listening right now who feels nervous about asking questions in English, it would be this: your questions are valid. Your need for clarity is not a weakness. It is part of being a responsible and respectful teammate.
That's such a beautiful reminder. And remember, everyone learns through questions. Even senior professionals ask questions every day.
So next time you feel unsure, take a breath and speak your sentence gently and fully. You might say, "I'd like to make sure I understood you correctly," or "Could you please walk me through that one more time?"
It's not about perfect words, it's about honest connection. And that's what good communication is all about. Feedback is a normal and important part of every workplace. It helps us grow, improve, and understand how we are doing. But for many people, giving or receiving feedback in English, especially when the topic is sensitive, can feel uncomfortable.
That's right. I remember the first time my manager gave me constructive feedback in English. My heart sank. Even though she was kind, I immediately felt like I had failed. But over time, I realized that feedback isn't personnel, it's professional.
Yes, and the way we give feedback can make a huge difference in how it is received. If you give feedback with care and respect, the other person is much more likely to hear it with an open mind.
Let's start with how to give feedback. One helpful structure is: start with something positive, mention the area for improvement, end with support or encouragement.
For example, let's say a colleague gave a presentation, but it was a bit too long. You could say, I really liked how clearly you explained the data in your presentation. One small suggestion I have is to try to keep it within the time limit next time. I think that would make it even more effective.
That sentence is clear, gentle, and constructive. It doesn't feel like criticism, it feels like help.
Here's another full sentence example. You handled the client meeting very well today. If I may offer a small suggestion, maybe we could include more visuals next time to help the client stay engaged.
Now, let's imagine giving feedback to someone on your team. Here's a dialogue example.
Hi, Crystal. I just wanted to say thank you for sending the report. I can see that you worked very hard on it.
Thank you, Rob. I appreciate that.
There's just one thing I wanted to bring up. I noticed that a few numbers in the data section don't match the updated file we received yesterday. Would you mind double checking those?
Oh, thank you for pointing that out. I'll review it right away and make the corrections.
Great. I really appreciate how quickly you respond. I know you always want to deliver your best work.
In that dialogue, the feedback was direct, but it was also kind. And because it was expressed in a respectful way, I was able to receive it without feeling bad.
Now let's talk about how to receive feedback in a graceful and professional way. First, listen carefully. Even if the feedback is surprising, try not to react too quickly. Take a breath.
Then you can respond with complete sentences such as, "Thank you for the feedback. I appreciate you taking the time to let me know." Or, "I understand what you're saying. I will definitely work on that moving forward."
If you're unsure about something, you can say, "Could you please give me an example so I can better understand what you mean?" That helps keep the conversation open and clear.
Let's do an example where someone receives unexpected feedback.
Hi, Crystal. I wanted to talk briefly about your email to the client yesterday. You explained the service very clearly, but I think the tone might have come across as a little too firm.
Thank you for letting me know. I didn't realize it sounded that way. I really appreciate the feedback. Would you mind helping me understand which part felt too firm?
Sure. The sentence that began with "as we already explained" might feel a bit sharp. Perhaps we could soften it a bit next time.
Got it. That makes sense. I'll make sure to reword it more gently in the future. Thanks again for the suggestion.
That conversation was calm, respectful, and productive. Feedback doesn't have to feel scary if we handle it with maturity and care.
Now, let's move to an even more sensitive topic: difficult conversations. Sometimes we have to talk about things that are emotional or uncomfortable. Maybe someone missed a deadline. Maybe you need to say no to a request.
In those moments, tone and language matter so much. Starting with empathy can make all the difference. For example, if someone missed a deadline, you could say, "I understand things can get busy. I just wanted to check in about the deadline we had for yesterday. Is everything okay on your end?"
That's so kind. It invites a response without placing blame. If you need to say no to a request, you can say, "I'd love to help, but I'm currently at full capacity. Would it be possible to revisit this next week?"
Or, "I appreciate you thinking of me for this task. Unfortunately, I won't be able to take it on right now, but I'm happy to suggest someone else who might help."
Here's a difficult conversation example where someone is feeling overwhelmed and needs to speak up. "Hi, Rob. I wanted to speak with you about my workload. I've been feeling a little overwhelmed lately with the number of tasks I'm handling."
Thank you for letting me know, Crystal. I really appreciate your honesty. What can I do to support you?
I think I might need help prioritizing some of the projects. I want to do a good job, but I'm having trouble balancing everything at once.
Absolutely. Let's look at your task together and see where we can adjust. You're doing excellent work, and we want to make sure you're not stretched too thin. That conversation felt very human and honest. And because it was expressed calmly and respectfully, it opened a door for support.
If you need to deliver tough feedback yourself, remember to be honest, but never cruel. Speak slowly. Use full, calm sentences. Avoid words like always or never. Focus on facts, not personal attacks.
And always end with kindness. You could say, I'm sharing this because I respect you and I want to see us succeed together.
In a multicultural, multilingual workplace, clear and compassionate communication is a superpower.
Yes, and difficult conversations, when handled well, can actually build trust, not break it.
So, next time you need to give feedback or express something hard, take a breath. Choose your words carefully. Speak with your heart as well as your mind.
Because in the end, it's not just about being right, it's about being real, respectful, and human.
We've talked about speaking in meetings, writing emails, giving feedback, and handling tough conversations. But learning English doesn't only happen at the office. In fact, the way you practice outside of work can deeply influence how confident and fluent you become.
Yes. One thing I always tell people is your English practice doesn't have to feel like homework. It can be part of your everyday life. It can be meaningful, enjoyable, and even fun.
That's true. When I was improving my English, I didn't just study textbooks. I listened to podcasts on my way to work. I watched videos of real conversations. I even practiced speaking out loud when I was alone, just describing what I was doing. Like, I'm making coffee now, or I'm choosing what to wear today.
That's a great tip. Speaking to yourself might feel strange at first, but it helps you become more comfortable forming sentences. And the best part, there's no pressure. No one is judging you.
Exactly. Another thing that helped me was reading things I actually cared about. Not just English articles, but topics I loved like food, travel, and wellness. That way, English didn't feel like a foreign language. It felt like a part of my real interests.
That's important. If you love cooking, read recipes or watch cooking shows in English. If you like fitness, follow fitness blogs or videos in English. Learning becomes easier when your heart is involved.
Here's a practical idea: choose just 5 minutes a day. In those 5 minutes, listen to one English audio clip, repeat a few sentences out loud, or write a short journal entry in English. Keep it simple and keep it gentle.
Yes, consistency is more important than intensity. 5 minutes every day is better than 1 hour once a month.
Let's go over some full sentence examples for practicing English gently in everyday life.
When I walk to work, I often say full sentences in my head like, today I have 2 meetings and a lunch appointment. It helps me think in English without stress.
When I cook, I name the ingredients aloud. I'm chopping the onions or I'm heating olive oil in a pan. It feels silly at first, but it works.
You can also write one sentence a day in a notebook. For example, today was challenging, but I learned something new, or I'm proud of how I spoke up in the meeting.
Another great way to practice is by imagining conversations. You can pretend you are ordering coffee, asking a question in a meeting, or introducing yourself to someone. Say the whole sentence, like, "Hi, my name is Crystal. I'm part of the marketing team."
Those small, quiet moments build big confidence over time.
Now, let's talk about staying motivated. Sometimes, especially after a hard day, you might think, my English isn't getting better, or I'll never sound fluent. But those thoughts are just that, thoughts, not facts.
Yes, I've had those moments too. I used to compare myself to native speakers and feel like I was always behind. But then I realized this is my journey. I'm not in a race. I'm building something meaningful one sentence at a time.
Whenever you feel discouraged, try to say this full sentence to yourself: I am learning at my own pace, and every word I speak brings me closer to confidence.
That's beautiful. And you can also say, I may make mistakes, but I never stop trying. That is my strength.
Those affirmations are powerful, especially when spoken out loud. Say them with kindness to yourself.
Another thing that helps is celebrating small wins. For example, if you spoke in a meeting, wrote an email, or asked a question all in English, that's a victory.
Even understanding a new word in a conversation is progress. Say to yourself, I did that today. I am proud of myself.
You can even keep a language wins journal. Write one thing each day that you did well in English. Over time, those pages will remind you how far you've come.
Let's end this section with a little dialogue to show how two coworkers can support each other in learning English.
Hey, Crystal, I just wanted to say that I noticed how clearly you explained your point in the meeting today. It was really impressive.
Thank you, Rob. That means a lot to me. I've been practicing how to slow down and speak with more confidence.
Well, it's definitely paying off. And if you ever want to practice together outside of work, I'd be happy to help.
That would be wonderful. Maybe we can do a short coffee chat in English once a week?
Absolutely. Let's start this Friday.
When we support each other, learning becomes lighter. We feel less alone and more connected.
That's what this whole podcast series has been about, learning together, step by step, with warmth and understanding.
So, wherever you are on your English journey, we want you to remember this. You are doing better than you think. You are learning something brave and beautiful.
And we're so proud of you for showing up, for listening, for caring, and for trying one word, one conversation, one kind sentence at a time. As we come to the end of our series, let's take a moment to reflect on everything we've explored together.
From preparing your mindset to speaking up in meetings, writing professional emails, connecting across cultures, asking clear questions, giving feedback with empathy, and practicing English in daily life, you've traveled a long way with us.
Every part of this journey was built on one idea: that language is more than grammar or vocabulary. It's a bridge between people. It's a way to connect, to understand, and to care.
We hope you now feel more confident, more equipped, and more supported in your English communication at work and beyond.
And no matter where you are in your journey, please remember, progress isn't about perfection. It's about showing up, speaking up, and staying kind to yourself.
We are so proud of you for being part of this conversation. Keep practicing, keep learning, and keep believing in your voice.
Thanks for joining us on KoKo Language Learning Lounge. We'll be back soon with another episode.
Until then, take care and happy learning.